Welcome to A Senior Moment. Quick info on the issues facing older adults today. This episode's guest is a licensed clinical social worker and also a workshop leader in the Buried in Treasures workshop. This workshop is designed to help address hoarding and acquiring behavior.
So this presentation is about how we can support our clients experiencing hoarding behaviors. So what is hoarding exactly? For most of us, it's not very difficult to manage our possessions. We buy what we need and get rid of the things we no longer need. We don't usually buy more stuff than can fit in our home. And if our space starts to feel cluttered, we remove items so our homes are the way we like them. For others of us, it can be very difficult to resist acquiring more things, and we may save too many possessions. We save so much that our space becomes cluttered. We may feel overwhelmed by the idea of getting rid of things or where to even begin. So hoarding is the clutter that results from acquiring too much stuff, saving too many things, and disorganization. In the DSM-V, hoarding disorder is present when the following 4 criteria are met. The first and second, difficulty discarding, and the strong urge to save things. People with hoarding disorder struggle to let go of their possessions or donate or recycle them. The person can feel overwhelmed with the decision-making process, and the urge to save outweighs the urge to discard. The third criterion is excessive clutter. Most homes have some degree of clutter. It's rare for people to feel 100% satisfied with the neatness or cleanliness of their home. The difference is people who are just a bit messy can still function in their home, whereas people who hoard generally have clutter that prevents them from using all or part of their homes. Perhaps they can't cook or eat in their kitchen, or invite people over because the clutter has taken over the space. The fourth criterion for hoarding disorder is distress or impaired functioning, a reduced quality of life. Essentially, the clutter is interfering with a person's ability to live comfortably in their home. If an individual is unable to cook, sleep, or move comfortably through their home, their quality of life is being affected. So hazards related to hoarding. Hoarding can be a dangerous problem, putting people at risk for falls, fire hazards, respiratory problems, and other health risks. This may be especially true for older adults who may already struggle with mobility and can be badly injured in a fall. So here are some hoarding facts. It affects approximately 3 to 6% of the population, roughly 1 out of every 20 people. Hoarding behavior peaks in middle age. Studies conclude that a greater than expected number of older people experience hoarding. Older people with hoarding problems face special challenges. Their energy level may be limited, and their physical strength may not be sufficient to tackle the decluttering process. In some cases, they may be experiencing dementia, chronic health issues, or other cognition problems that make it difficult to concentrate, focus, and organize things. Also, hoarding is often accompanied by other mental health issues. So hoarding is grouped in the DSM-V with obsessive compulsive disorder, or OCD, and related disorders. OCD is an anxiety disorder, and some aspects of hoarding seem consistent with OCD. People who hoard sometimes feel afraid to throw things out and worry excessively about the decisions related to letting things go. Depression is another condition that seems to occur commonly with hoarding. Most cases of hoarding do not appear to result from depression, but many who hoard get depressed. Anxiety is present in about 30% of people who hoard. Many people who hoard feel worried and on edge. They may have difficulty concentrating or feel tired and cranky. Some experience social anxiety and feel nervous around other people, resulting in fewer social interactions. This may in turn give them less motivation to clean their homes because they're uncomfortable with visitors. They may also experience shame around the problem and are less likely to reach out for help. Others with hoarding behaviors show features of ADHD or attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, approximately 30%, They have difficulty staying focused and are easily distracted, which can make it really difficult in the sorting and decluttering process. And finally, post-traumatic stress disorder shows up in about 7% of people with hoarding disorder. So when do you seek help? The hoarding rating scale can help people decide if they do need help. The next 5 questions should be answered based on the person's experience just during this last week. So with 0 being not at all difficult and 8 being extremely difficult, these are the 5 questions. Number 1, because of the clutter or number of possessions, how difficult is it for you to use the rooms in your home? Number 2, to what extent do you have difficulty discarding or recycling, selling, giving away ordinary things that other people would get rid of? Number 3, do you currently have a problem with collecting free things or buying more things than you need or can use or can't afford? Number 4, to what extent do you experience emotional distress because of the clutter, the difficulty discarding, or problems with buying or acquiring things? And number 5, to what extent do you experience impairment in your life, your daily routine, your job, school, social activities, family activities, financial difficulties because of the clutter, the difficulty discarding, or problems with buying or acquiring things? So generally a score of 4 or more is considered significant and indicates that symptoms of hoarding are having an impact on the quality of your life. So how does this happen? It's important to define hoarding as a mental health problem. And this doesn't mean individuals are damaged or hopeless. Often people with hoarding are smart, witty, and delightful, and many have no true idea that they are suffering. It's important to understand that people with hoarding are not fully aware or in control of their behavior. They're in a pattern of behavior that they cannot understand or manage. Researchers have used brain scans to understand what's going on in the brains of people who hoard. People with hoarding disorder were asked to bring in their own bag of junk mail, as well as sort through the junk mail, some junk mail that was not theirs. They were shown a piece of mail and asked whether to keep it or discard it. When the person was making decisions about someone else's mail, their frontal and temporal lobes, the parts of the brain involved with judging the relative importance of things, became underactive. But the opposite was true when people were sorting their own mail. These same parts of the brain became overactive. So the parts of the brain that are responsible for telling us what is important become overwhelmingly loud and make seemingly simple decision-making very difficult. Enhancing motivation for people living with this disorder starts with defining a person's goals and values. Many people with hoarding issues have goals like they want to be safe in their home. They want to be able to find the things they need, or maybe they want to have people over to their home without feeling embarrassed. Getting clear on their values can help them keep their eye on the prize. Maybe they want to spend more time with their family and friends. Maybe they want to enjoy their hobbies or have more money to spend on the things they need. So how can we help? It's important to reassure individuals with this disorder that their possessions belong to them and only they can decide what to do with them. If you find yourself in the position of working with someone with hoarding disorder, it's important to remember the following points. You want to meet as a team. Your job is to help the person stay focused, provide emotional support, visit with them in the home, help them make the decisions, but make sure they make the final decision. Be a cheerleader. Don't touch or move anything without permission. And once they've let the items go, help with the hauling process. It's also important to remember that clearing out the clutter is just a part of the problem. If a person with this disorder is not offered treatment as well, they will just fill up their homes again. Talk therapy doesn't seem to be particularly helpful for people with hoarding disorder. But evidence does show that cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, is helpful. Unlike other sorts of therapy, CBT is a very action and solution-focused treatment in which the person and the therapist work together to learn how to sort and let go of possessions, think more clearly about their possessions, and control their urge to acquire. Another option is group therapy. Groups like the Buried in Treasures workshop is a 16-week highly structured support group. Significant declines in hoarding symptoms were observed in participants completing the workshop. And here are some resources available for people who experience the behaviors of hoarding. It is a widespread issue, and it's important to provide clients with judgment-free support and let them know that they are not alone and that there's help out there.
Thanks for having a senior moment. For more information and resources on hoarding, check the description below. Also consider liking and subscribing so you don't miss future episodes.